When the sun sets, it is time for the top stories from the day. Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Monday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, sports, and so much more. I am Glenora Shipura. Starting us off in the news tonight, in a decision that has reignited global debate over the future of rhino conservation, the European Union has rejected Namibia's proposal to allow a tightly regulated trade in rhino horn ahead of the 20th conference of the parties to the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. COP20 will be held in Samarkand, Uzbekistan from November the 24th to December the 5th. Namibia had sought permission to implement a controlled system that will enable the sale of rhino horn from legally obtained sources, such as natural horn growths trimmed under veterinary supervision or horns recovered from deceased animals. In its proposal, Namibia argued that such trade could generate sustainable funding for rhino protection while undercutting the black market that fuels poaching across southern Africa. The EU, however, maintained its long-standing opposition, citing concerns that any reopening of legal trade could stimulate demand, complicate enforcement, and increase the risk of laundering illegal horn through legal channel. The EU stated that international trade bans remains one of the few tools proven to curb poaching pressure, warning that relaxing them would send the wrong signal to consumers and traffickers alike. Conservationists in Namibia have reacted with disappointment, accusing the EU of prioritizing ideology over practical realities in the ground. Conservationist and a member of Help Our Rhinos Now, Namibia, Alex Olofse, in a strongly worded statement said that the EU's decision strengthens illegal trade, protects the profits of criminal syndicates, and pushes Africa's rhinos closer to extinction. At the heart of Namibia's argument lies a simple economic principle. When demand exists and legal supply is blocked, black markets thrive from poached horn sold for tens of thousands of dollars per kilogram, sustaining organized criminal networks that stretch from Southern Africa to Asia. Industrialization, Mines and Energy Minister Natangwe Ithete says that going forward, under his watch, his ministry will not allow non-performance to continue unabated without consequences at the Namibia Industrial Development Agency, adding that if you do not perform, we will do the needful. Ithete was responding to questions posed in Parliament last week by Popular Democratic Movement President Mkhenri Bendani, who asked what mechanisms exist to hold project implementers accountable for non-performance. In a response read on his behalf by Deputy Minister Gaudentia Kruone, Ithete said that previously the Ministry of Public Enterprises had oversight of all state-owned enterprises, but since 21 March, SOEs such as NIDA have reverted to their line ministries. In this regard, the Office of the Prime Minister is developing a new governance framework which will include mechanisms to hold SOEs accountable for non-performance. In the meantime, we rather stepped in with some corrective steps, such as an immediate change to the management of NIDA, efforts to assist the agency to obtain capital to address historical debts, as well as to find joint venture partners to commence with industrial projects. He said, finally, we are reviewing NIDA's entire portfolio of projects with the aim of strengthening to ensure that the agency starts focusing on its core mandate of industrialization. This includes establishing viable factories and value-adding initiatives that provide jobs to Namibians, he added. According to Bendani, NIDA reported an operational loss of $102 million and increasing liabilities. He asked what steps the ministry is taking to stabilize the agency's financial position to ensure sustainability of its operations. Ithete said the exact losses are still being verified. However, no seed capital was provided at NIDA's inception. Operational inefficiencies and other factors have led to financial challenges. To address these, the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, along with the Ministry of Finance, are working with the NIDA to first get the integrated business plan approved. During an engagement with editors from various media houses in Windhoek, Information and Communication Technology Minister Emma Theophilus discussed the ethical use of social media campaign under the National Pride Program. She said the initiative seeks to promote unity, patriotism, and social cohesion while urging Namibians to reject content that fuels social ills. Theophilus warned against cyberbullying, hate speech, and misinformation, calling on media houses to help raise awareness and foster a safer, more responsible digital community. Here she is.
Conscious of the potential dangers and risks of social media in our way on how to safely conduct themselves on online spaces. Dangers of social media include negative mental health effects like depression and anxiety, exposure to inappropriate content and hate speech, cyberbullying, especially amongst our young citizens, children who are debuting younger and younger online, and exploitation of minors and the spread of misinformation and disinformation, which has a constant comparison to unrealistic lifestyles that may lead to undue pressures and withdrawals. Furthermore, through this campaign, we aim to educate Namibian citizens to avoid promoting tribal discourses online that have the potential to bring division within our Namibian house. We can be robust in our online engagement and interactions, but when it comes to issues of national pride and unity and patriotism, we need to unite as one people and reject all forms of social ills that has the potential to derail.
Senior African Union officials and regional security leaders have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening police capabilities across the continent's peace support operations, highlighting the vital role of policing in promoting stability and the rule of law in post-conflict settings. Speaking at the opening of the 5th annual AU Police Coordination meeting in Windhoek, Professor Kula Ismail Tletsane, the director of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Affairs at the Southern African Development Community Secretariat, described the gathering as a reaffirmation of our shared commitment to promoting peace, security and cooperation across our continent. Professor Tletsane said, speaking on behalf of SADC Executive Secretary Elias Mohosi, stated that the gathering marks not only the continuation of our collective journey, but also a reaffirmation of our shared commitment to promoting peace, security, and cooperation across our continent. The meeting, attended by heads of the African Union Peace Support Operations Division, AU police commissioners, regional police elements, and international partners such as the GIZ, African Union Office, the Institute for Security Studies, and the United Nations, comes at a time of major reviews within the AU's peace and security architecture. Tletsane noted that the AU recently conducted a review of the African Standby Force strategic concept in December 2024, with further plans to reassess the entire African peace and security architecture this year. He said the conference theme aligns closely with these reforms, emphasizing the growing importance of police in peace support missions. That concludes our top stories. On the other side of these, we will be taking a look at what's headlining the story of the day. In our story of the day, Namibia's debut at Paris Fashion Week has been a fantastic experience and a great honor, says Namibian fashion designer, creative director and founder of House of Poulton, Melissa Poulton, who represented Namibia on the international stage in the fashion capital Paris and France for the first time. Poulton's collection featured creations inspired by the country's breathtaking landscapes. Her collection, La Dolce Vita, consists of designs inspired by nature and celebrates Namibian luxury through a citrus palette of creations embroidered with intricate handmade beads. Melissa, who first showcased her creations at the Parkhays Theatre in 2011, describes La Dolce Vita as her personal love letter to beauty, joy and tenderness. A reminder that elegance lies even in strength and even in resilience there is poetry. Through this series, I wanted to tell the story of a Namibian on a Parisian stage. The collection is where my heritage meets my dreams, where our beautiful Namibian landscapes become garments, and where each piece is a fragment of my heart translated into couture, Poulton said. She dedicated her series to her father, Harold Poulton, who was her pillar of support and one of the founders of House of Poulton. Melissa's historic participation was proudly sponsored by O&L Leisure through its commitment to Brand Namibia, which aims to present a unified, positive image of the country's culture, talent, and tourism opportunities to the world. We will be taking a look at our economic news shortly. The October Seafarers United Land and Housing Federation has taken a major step forward in its mission to restore dignity and provide affordable housing for seafarers, following the successful signing of a sale agreement with the Walvis Bay municipality. At an event to highlight their progress thus far, the Federation has committed to purchasing portion 18 of farm number 37 from the Walvis Bay municipality at a cost of $2.4 million Namibian dollars. To date, 10% deposit amounting has been paid as part of the agreement. In addition to the land purchase, the Federation has already invested significantly in essential planning and development processes. The township establishment cost $702,000 Namibian, of which $242,000 Namibian has been paid, with the remaining $460,000 Namibian to be settled over 20 monthly installments. The surveying of the township amounts to $900,000 Namibian, with half of this amount already paid and the remainder scheduled over 15 monthly installments. An environmental impact assessment was completed by NYAP's consultant CC at a cost of $75,000 Namibian, which has been paid in full, and an environmental clearance certificate has already been issued. Furthermore, with $35,000 Namibian was paid for architectural services covering the design and drafting of housing plans. The date, the Federation's total expenditure on the projects amount to $1,284,588 Namibian, entirely funded by its members. This township will not just be a collection of buildings, it will be a place where families will create memories, children will grow, and land and friendship will blossom. Chairperson of the Federation, Matthias Deolita, said Erongo Governor Nathalia Rojas commended the Federation's work and urged leaders to embrace servant leadership. The Ongwediva Town Council's main water tower, a landmark structure that has served the community for decades, is nearing the completion of a major refurbishment aimed at strengthening the town's water supply system. Council spokesperson Otilia Shingene said the project, which will cost $5.3 million, forms part of the municipality's ongoing efforts to improve service delivery and upgrade critical infrastructure. Shingenge said once completed, the refurbished tower is expected to enhance water storage capacity, improve distribution efficiency, and ensure a more reliable supply to residents. Shingenge said during the 2024-2025 financial year, the council implemented a capital budget of 53 million Namibian dollars dedicated to infrastructure development and service delivery projects. This, she said, aims to improve the quality of life for residents while supporting the town's continuous growth and development. Several projects have already been completed under this budget, including the planning and replanning of Extension 13 and Eliambela, the replanning of Extension 2 Township at 86,957 Namibian dollars. The procurement of fire and rescue equipment worth 173,913 Namibian dollars. The Phase 4 development of the multi-purpose sports field at 4.3 million Namibian dollars. Installation of park fixtures at Extension 14, as well as the acquisition of ICT equipment, office furniture, and the installation of Christmas lights across the town. All right, we now take a look at the financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.22, against the euro at 20.24, against the US dollar at 17.23, 2 Namibian dollars and 42 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold and platinum went up while copper and Brent crude oil went down. Brent crude oil trading at 0.22%, going for $65 and 53 cents per barrel. In international news, vote counting is underway in Syria after the country's first parliamentary elections since the ouster of longtime autocrat Bashar Assad last year. Preliminary results of Sunday's vote will be announced immediately, but the official result is expected to be known either today or Tuesday once counting is over, according to Syrian news agency SANA. The People's Assembly will be tasked with passing a new election law and constitution as the country moves through its post-Assad political transition after more than a decade of civil war. Across the country, security forces were deployed around polling stations. Inside Electoral College, members entered polling booths to fill out their ballot papers with a list of names that were then placed in a sealed box until they were pulled out and counted in front of candidates, journalists, and observers from the Syrian Bar Association. There was no direct popular vote in this election. 2/3 of the 210 member assembly seats will be elected through province-based electoral colleges, with the seats distributed by population, while 1/3 will be appointed directly by interim President Ahmed al-Sharaa. The new parliament will serve a 30-month term while preparing for future elections. In theory, 7,000 electoral college members across 60 districts are eligible to vote for 140 seats, but elections were postponed indefinitely in Suaida province and in areas controlled by the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces due to tensions between the local authorities and Damascus. Critics argue the elections fall short of full democracy, noting that the electoral college system may favor well-connected candidates consolidating power within the interim government. For others, the election was a sign of progress. In Damascus, 490 candidates competed for 10 seats with 500 voters in the electoral college. That concludes our international news. We now swing over to the weather predictions for tomorrow. The capital city can expect a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius with partly cloudy conditions, while Katiba Mlilo can expect a minimum of 18 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 38 degrees Celsius with sunny weather conditions. Up next, the sports news with Sports Wrap.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with Formula One racing news. It was Singapore Grand Prix won by Mercedes-Benz. It was George Russell that won the race, and it was a very exciting race with Max Verstappen in his Red Bull Honda second. Then the two McLarens, that was Lando Norris third and Oscar Piastri in fourth position. And it is also McLaren that secured the Constructors' Championship with still 6 races to go. They're the champions in the Constructors for the 2025 season. And now it's 6 races to go, and it's all to race for specifically for the two McLaren race drivers. That's Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. It is Piastri that now leads Lando Norris by only 22 points on the points table. And then Max Verstappen is 63 points behind the leader. The next race on the calendar will be on the 19th of October, and that will be the US Grand Prix. Moving on to soccer news, it's the English Premier League, and Arsenal, they're top of the table in the English Premier League. That is after round 7. That is after Arsenal beat West Ham by 2-0, and it was Liverpool that lost 2-1 at Chelsea. That means that Arsenal leads now with 16 points on the points table, and Liverpool's got 15. 2 teams on 14 points, that is Bournemouth and Tottenham Hotspur. Other results to look at from the weekend is that Manchester United beat Sunderland by 2-0. Then also Manchester City, they too strong for Brentford. It was 1-0. That game played at Brentford. And then Newcastle beat Nottingham Forest at home by 2-0. Moving on to tennis news, it was the China Open. It's a WTA Thousands tournament. A great performance by Amanda Anisimova. She's from the United States. She beat Linda Noskova of the Czech Republic by 6-love, 2-6 and 6-2. And that is her second WTA Thousands tournament in her career. And then closing off with cricket news, it is the 50-over Women's Cricket World Cup that's continuing, and it was India that beat Pakistan by 88 runs in their group game, and it was Pakistan or India that scored 247, and in India just replying with 159. It's the second win in the tournament for India. So that is international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
That was Ari Hohad with the sports news, and with that we've come to the end of the broadcast. Do make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every Monday to Thursday from 7:30 p.m. I am Glenora Shipura. Until next time.